Throughout the history of immigration and colonization, loss is a prolific theme, though the loss can, at times, be unknown to those in whom it is most pronounced. But what exactly does it mean to inherit loss? In immigration in particular, loss is visible as a direct result of yielding to the enticing lure of the American dream. Present-day America is undoubtedly a mixing pot of various cultures that have come in as immigrants to start a new life. These immigrants often take up residence in ethnic enclaves that exist in various cities throughout the United States, like the many manifestations of Chinatown, Little Italy, Hispanic barrios, Little Pakistan, Greek Town, Little India, and many more. Descendants even in these more preserved cultures have been victims of the loss of heritage that goes hand in hand with immigration, for generation after generation of descendants of American immigrants slowly experience a successive dilution of culture. Today, in some cases, this has occurred to such a degree that the only vestiges of the primary culture that remain are descendants that may identify with their ethnic patrimony, but in reality are a world apart. In modern society, pop culture has unknowingly thrust a primary example of this loss of authentic cultural identity into the media spotlight with the MTV series The Jersey Shore. Members of this cast promulgate their pride in their Italian culture, even boldly stating, "My family is about as Italian as you can get." And while some families may hold true to the customs of their forefathers, those at the head of these claims frequently do not speak or understand a word of the language of their ancestors. These particular Italian-descended individuals make a spectacle of their heritage so that they may identify as Guidos and Guidettes, a modern slang word that has devolved to equate Italian heritage to gelled hair and blowouts, indoor tanning, copious amounts of makeup, steroidal male muscular physique, or distastefully exposed female anatomy, and paraphernalia bearing the green, white, and red of the Italian flag. Yet for all their bravado, they are unaware that they have become a blight upon the face of the American impression of Italian culture. This, however, is an extreme, rather lackluster case of dissolution. Kiran Desai illustrates the same cultural breakdown in her novel The Inheritance of Loss through the character Biju's eyes during his time in America. He watches other Indian immigrants around him sacrifice pieces of themselves to better acclimate to a new culture, like when he sees that in America,
there were Indians eating beef, Indian bankers, chump chump. He fixed them with a concentrated look of meaning as he cleared the plates. They saw it, they knew, he knew, they knew he knew. They pretended they didn't know he knew. They looked away.
As cattle are sacred animals in Hinduism, consuming beef is considered sacrilegious, and thus it is apparent that the steak-consuming Indians that Biju scrutinizes are incurring their own onslaught of loss. Though Biju returns to India out of the bonds of love he fosters for his father, it is not difficult to imagine what might have happened had he remained in America. Indeed, though Biju has already inherited a fragment of loss from his father's dreams for him, he may have gotten a wife, and any children he might have had in America would have been born American citizens who attended American schools and engaged in American customs. From there on, all future descendants of Biju's line would begin to descend the inevitable escalator of cultural estrangement by forgetting their connection with a land that they had never experienced and so could never remember. It is clear that Desai illustrates a truth that is germane not only to her novel, but also to the entire history of the world. A truth that rears a modern age of people that are only partially aware of their ancestral ethnicity and out of touch with the customs and beliefs associated with the various factions of their own heritage. In the same pattern of cyclical descent, those who are more personally acquainted with their cultural identity will, eventually, leave behind a legacy that has lost sight of some of their ancestral roots. Thus, as Desai's novel illustrates, and as history exemplifies, immigration is a catalyst for the inheritance of loss to which we are all heirs.